Hello everyone and welcome to Rise Above. I'm your host, Janie Terrazas, and here we feature women who have tapped into their passion, their power, and their purpose. And today I have light extraordinaire Phyllis Clemmons. I'm so excited to be here with you this afternoon.
So am I.
She has so much wisdom and so much love and inspiration to share. It's ridiculous. I also want to say thank you for tuning in, because we know that we had a little bit of a hiccup this morning, and so this is why we started a little bit later. So for those of you that were patient enough to stick around, thank you so much for that. And thank you for your likes and your shares. Phyllis, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start with this lady. Well, first of all, she's an author, she's a life coach, a motivational speaker, a spiritual guide, advisor, I don't know. She's everything. But the name of her book, and she's written several, this one is called Draw Near My Beloved. So where do we even start? Do you want to start with this? I mean, gosh.
Okay, yes. This book was a great inspiration for me, because as I wrote it, it first ministered to me before it was even published. So everything that I wrote in that book, every devotional, definitely inspired by God. I couldn't write a word when I had nothing to say. When it was coming from me, I couldn't write it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's true. And you know, whenever I write things, oftentimes it's also this inspiration, this nudge, this whisper. And then you write it and you're like, you can't even take credit for it. You're like, oh wow, this is so great, because it's speaking to you.
Yes.
So I understand what you mean by that. And I know there's a lot of people out there who have really incredible stories, who maybe have sort of a desire to write a book. So why don't we sort of rewind, because I believe it was 17 years ago, or no, maybe even longer.
Longer now.
Longer now, when you got the idea to write a book. So why don't we talk a little bit about that?
Yes. It was in 1995, and I had a dream. And in that dream, the Lord came to me and said, you're going to be an author and a writer. And I thought, gee, that's great, because I love to read and I love to write. I said, this is wonderful. I'm going to get started right away. But what I didn't realize is that it was just a foretaste of what was going to come later. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of times we'll know what we're going to do. We'll get a foretaste of it, but it doesn't mean that we're going to start right now. Mm-hmm. It just means that a time of preparation is going to take place between the time that you have been appointed to do it and the time that you are actually anointed to do it.
Yes.
Because during that 17 years, he never said another word about it. And I was like, okay, I know I heard this. I know it was real. It was so strong in my spirit. Mm-hmm. I know it was true.
Right.
And just one day, after 17 years, and I want to say during that time, I went through some difficult seasons. I had developed cancer in my left eye, and I had gone back to school to get my bachelor's degree and then my master's degree. And so during this time, I had some times when it was a real struggle for me.
Yes.
And I realized that later on, during that time, those are times of crushing. Those are times when, the Lord ordained the olive fruit as an anointing oil to bless his people. So during those times of crushing, during those times of severe pain, those are the times that God will use to help you to do your best work and to become your best self.
True. I totally agree with that. You do not know who you are, what you're made of, until you've really been in the trenches of some serious pain. And a lot of times that's where people will stay and get stuck. But then there's those individuals, and we all have it in us to rise above it and then use it in our lives in some way. And oftentimes it is to maybe help others, right? And so I want to get back to, because this is pretty incredible, guys. Like you said, she kind of just glazed over the fact that she had a scare with cancer. And this was a very rare type of cancer. I want you to tell them what it was. And more importantly, she was awake when they had to do the surgery to remove this tumor. Okay, like, and it was near her eye. So let me just let her tell you about it. I mean, when I was reading it, I was like, what? What?
That's what I said. When the doctor said, I need to, he said, I'll give you a local. He said, but I need you to be awake. He said, because I need you to be able to follow instructions and to be able to move your eye in certain positions so I can get as much of the tumor out as possible.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the corner of my left eye where the little pink tissue is.
Whoa.
And that little pink tissue had grown over into the peripherals of my eye, and it was red. And he said, yes, it's cancerous. He said, but I'm going to get as much as I can out as possible. You're going to need to help me.
What was it called? And I think it was
called malt lymphoma.
Okay.
At that time, they told me there were only 19 people in the country that had that particular form of cancer. They didn't know a lot about it.
Right.
And the doctors who were going to look after me and treat me and perform the surgery, that particular doctor, he had only done one before, just one.
Gosh.
So they collaborated quite a bit with the Boston Eye, Ears, Nose, and Throat hospital because
Mm-hmm.
they had done the most.
Okay.
I think they had done about 5.
Gotcha.
And so they told them how to build the protective cup that they were going to use in my eye after the surgery during radiation treatments,
Mm-hmm.
so that the radiation treatment wouldn't damage my eye.
Right. And I mean, so what was the feeling that you had, and how did you deal with that fear? Like when you found out you were going to have to be awake, and you understand, like,
Yes.
this is, because it's pretty traumatic.
Yes, it is. And I'm going to be honest with you, when I first found out that the tumor was cancerous, I wasn't afraid. And,
Right.
and the reason I wasn't afraid is because I said, well, I know I'm not going to die
Mm-hmm.
as a result of this, because I haven't written the book yet. And you told me I was going to be a writer, and I haven't written it yet. So you haven't given it to me or told me what to write yet. So I know this sickness is not unto death. I think my husband was a little bit more devastated than I was.
Right.
When I came home that day, and the doctor told him, actually, because he was home and I wasn't. I was out food shopping. When I got home, he was like, honey, sit down. And he was all teary and upset. And he was like, the doctor called and he says that it's cancerous. And I was like, I'm so tired. I worked all day and then I went food shopping. I was like, okay, can you put the groceries away? And I'm going to go upstairs and take a nap. And he was looking at, did you hear what I said? I'm like, yes, I heard you. But I knew.
You just knew. You had
I
this
just
faith.
knew.
Yeah.
This was not unto death. I went upstairs. I said a prayer. I said, I'm tired. I'm going to sleep. I know you're going to be awake. I know you're going to be taken care of it. So I'm going to bed.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I went to bed and I slept for about 4 or 5 hours. I had a good sleep.
Great.
So I
That's like
wasn't
most
worried.
people wouldn't. Most people would be so frantic, and I think that's a testament too to the core of your anchoring into your relationship with God. I know for some people they have a hard time understanding. They feel like that they worry is like just part of life, that they have to worry. And you really don't. I call it one of life's booby traps. It's completely understandable why somebody would worry, but I think it's very beautiful that you just had this knowing. And I always tell people too, like, that part of anytime we go through something like that, like in your case, here you were going to write a book, you didn't even know when, but it makes your life story that much juicier. You know what I mean? Like if you were to tell somebody about your life story and it was just like do-do-do-do-do, and it was just smooth sailing the whole time. I mean, you can't come here and have an experience on earth without riding a roller coaster. And if you can learn how to have fun through the highs and the lows and recognize it's all beautiful.
Yes,
It really is.
And I really believe that fear and worry are a result of the unknown. The
True.
things that we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's in the future. We don't know how things are going to turn out.
Yes, it's true.
But God says, He's given us a spirit of power, of love, and of a sound mind.
Yeah, and that takes practice to get your mind working for you instead of against you. It takes practice to have a sound mind, because most of our minds are tainted and replaying and saying and doing a lot of things that are not for our highest good, and or not allowing us to be still, because you really cannot get some of these answers and feel this and hear these things unless you can still yourself. We are going to take a quick break, and then I want to get back into what we were just talking about. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you to our sponsors. You are watching Rise Above, and I'm here with Phyllis Clemmons. We will be right back. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Rise Above. I'm your host, Janie Terrazas, and I am with the author of Draw Near, My Beloved. She's written several books. She works as a life coach. She's also a wonderful spiritual teacher for so many. She's very involved in her church. And before we left, took a break, we were talking about, fear. And I feel like a lot of people, and you might agree, right? A lot of us are being called to step into our full potential. And I have so many people, like so many clients and even friends or whatever, and a lot of people are dealing with this level of anxiety right now, because they're recognizing they need to make some changes, but it feels so uncomfortable to step into these new realms, like she said, of the unknown. And I believe we are more afraid of our greatness than we are our darkness, to be honest with you. We're so much more comfortable with that side of ourselves. So let's talk a little bit about that.
I think one of the things that encouraged me about that is that I listen to Joyce Myers quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And she always says, do it afraid. Even though you are afraid, do it afraid.
Yes.
Because you know that God has given you a passion for something, a love for something within you, deep within you, mm-hmm. and He's going to give you the power that you need to perform it.
Yes.
So do it afraid.
Do it afraid.
Yeah, step into it anyway.
Yeah, I just recently went skydiving, and talk about, right now I'm making a lot of choices that have to do with leaning into fear. It's kind of like my mantra right now. And I just started a new project. You guys can check it out. You can search Fierce Body, Free Mind. And did you see that?
Yes.
A couple of years ago, as I was working out, it was this idea again had come to me, right? This hey, there's a lot of people that don't have a lot of time, and they're not really doing the emotional work and or mental work, but some of them are actually working out on their bodies. What if you could it was like this encouragement of help people ignite their spirit and heal their hearts and empower their minds while strengthening their bodies. And I'm like, that's too many pieces, that's too much for me to be doing all at once. I have a fitness background, but I kept trying to find a fitness person to do that part, because to speak and be giving information and doing all this at once, it was just so overwhelming to me. And it just wasn't quite working out. And then my friend, who is starting this 12-week program of really living clean and eating better, she was taking this thing called the M3 Pledge, and she's like, you need to do that thing you've been talking about with me. And I'm like, but I gotta do the mindfulness speaking and connect to spirit and work people out and tell you what to do, and it's just so much. And you, like you said, you just have to do it. And I'm literally putting myself out there, it's creating something in front of people. And I want everything to be nice and tight and
Yes.
And sometimes you just can't have it all figured out. It's not going to have this perfect
Exactly.
little bow. Sometimes you just got to try.
We live in a world
And not
these
try, but
days.
do.
We live in a world these days where this is a time of multitasking.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is not comfortable with it.
Yeah.
We have to ask God for uncommon wisdom and uncommon methods and ways of doing things so that we can get everything in, so that we can get it all done and get it done in excellence at
Yes.
the same time.
That's true. That's really important.
Yes.
And I believe everything that you do, you bring a really positive attitude to all that you do. And as a life coach, what are some of the things that you encourage people to try? I think you were talking a little bit about how you wake up in the morning and how that can
Yes.
really set your tone. Life is about intention, and we all need to start living more deliberately, more
Yes.
intentionally, and more consciously.
Exactly.
So you were talking about
this
that.
this is what I would say to everybody who aspires to do something or be something that's greater than themselves. Do one small thing. It doesn't have to be anything big. Do one small thing every day towards that goal.
That's true.
Because let me just put it to you in an analogy.
Okay.
One drop of water in a bucket does not give such a big impact. It's a very small impact. However, drops poured into the bucket every day, continuously, on a regular basis, eventually will cause the water to rise to the top until it overflows.
Love it.
And that's when you reach your greater.
Mm.
And that's along the way, you will also find that people will come into your life or be put in your path that will open doors that you otherwise could not have opened on your own.
Yes.
That will help you to do the parts that you can't do. Like, I'm very technologically challenged.
Oh, so am
But
I.
God has put wonderful people in my path. I have a fantastic webmaster that designed my website. I could never have done anything like that.
Sure.
His name is Donovan Crumady. He is fantastic as a web designer, and
Yeah.
he did such a fantastic job.
Tell them your website so
What,
they can.
my website is called inspirationsandlove.com.
Nice. I love it.
And he did a wonderful job on and we've just only completed the cell phone version, and the desktop tablet version will be coming out very shortly. But that's something I could have never done
That's
on
true.
my own. So the parts that you can't do, God will put, through divine providence, God will put people in your path that are gifted in those areas.
Exactly. And it's so true.
And then you reach back and you get someone else who's struggling in the areas that you're gifted in, and you help them.
Oh, I love it because it is reciprocal. You,
Most definitely.
there's a fluidity to life. I like to look at it also as part of like living in a very harmonic way, like a nice balance and a flow of give and take and give and take.
Exactly.
And as much as we love to give and help others, we also have to learn how to like give to our own selves. And I feel like there's a distortion around the word selfish. I feel like instead of selfish, maybe we can like change it to a word that's, I don't know what it would be, but just self-aware and like self-loving instead of calling, when we want to love ourselves and put ourselves first. Oftentimes people look at that as a selfish thing, and I think in the long run that ends up hindering us when we put everybody above our own self.
Yes. I think you have to love yourself. How can you love someone else if you don't have a love for yourself? How can you want to grow? How can you want to go higher? How can you want to go to deeper levels to become your best self if you don't love yourself?
It's true. And also
Yes.
going back to what you were saying, it's really important, y'all. It takes a lot of humility to really look at self in a way where you are open to recognizing your weaknesses and your strengths. not only in, let's say, business, but also just maybe in your relationships or as a human being. And so when you do it, like you said, when you start to listen to that intuition, to those whispers, to those nudges, God just, things start to align for you. And when that starts to happen more consistently, this is when you recognize you're in your soul flow. Be in your soul flow. You know, it's like tapping in the spirit. I know, I just kind of thought of it right now.
I like that.
Yeah, and you know, you have I love what you say too on your website. It talks about what it is that you are really like striving to do on a daily basis. You are wanting to expand and evolve mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. She is not in competition with other people. She is in, I don't even know if I like the word competition, but it's really about in a competition with yourself.
Striving to be your best self.
Yes, striving to be your best self. Where did that come from? Was that nurtured in your home? What kind of like childhood did you have? Was it completely opposite of like this kind of person that you are?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And in my first book of memoirs, I talk about it. I talk about a time of severe just abusiveness. And you know, when you go through those abusive periods in your life, it lowers your self-esteem.
Yes.
It makes you feel like you're not worthy of anything. You're not worthy for God's best. You're not worthy to do anything that will glorify Him. But what I learned is it doesn't matter where you began. As my friend Myra Manyweather says, her mantra is start where you are.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about your beginnings.
Yes.
I hear people often say, well, I'm this way because of how I was raised or how I grew up. Well, at some point, you can take the authority as you get older, and you can change those things by your thinking, and by realizing that you are someone, that you can make a difference in your life and in the life of other people.
Absolutely. And it really is, that is the start. You just have to want and something more for yourself. It starts with a desire, a curiosity, desire, courage, and commitment. These 4 words are the things that you guys are going to need to turn it around. And I'm telling you right now, if you have been through like what she's been through, let's say a really like tough childhood, you dealt with maybe some abuse or some trauma, whatever that may be, sexually, physically, mentally, emotionally, what people don't realize is that trauma also gets trapped within the body. The Deepak Chopra says that the issues are in the tissues. So, do you see? And so, not only is it important to go to somebody in terms of like speaking, that they can speak to you and help you process these emotions and these mental things that are like disturbing you. There's also movement is very crucial to healing. And that's another thing that I'm studying. So that trauma is trapped in the mental body, the emotional body, the spiritual body, and the physical body. And if you can help yourself and find the right individuals, the right books, the right videos, whatever you need to give yourself that empowerment to help you get out of that story. It is a story and it's embedded in you, you see? And it's up to you to really do the serious work that it takes. And it's not easy. Like, let's talk a little bit about that. When you go, and the word I like to use, and it sounds a little mutant-y, but transmutation. You have to go through a transmutation to transform yourself, and that word alone sounds like uncomfortable. Like it's like a caterpillar that turns into a pool of mushy goo before it turns into this beautiful butterfly. And so we have to go through that. It's like the dismantling of the old, and you're like, oh my God, but who am I without this pain, and who am I without this story, and oh my God, I'm so scared, and What do you say to people when they're going through that? Because, right, you cannot escape that piece.
You can't. But I believe, and that's a lot of what this book is about, Draw Near My Beloved, each day's daily devotional, is something that inspires, it encourages, it motivates people. It lets them know you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
You can make it. You can get through it.
Mm-hmm.
We go through so much in our lives.
Yes.
And we need resources like people writing, like evangelists and speakers and motivational speakers telling us that we are better than that we can do better, that we can achieve more, that we can make a difference in our lives and in the lives of other people as well. We need those things to help us to get through. We need someone there saying, you can do it. You can make it. We need a cheering section.
Yes.
We do.
Yeah, and you know what? At the beginning, guys, like ultimately the goal is for you to figure out how to be your number one cheerleader. But you're not there yet. It's baby steps, right? Some of you already are, but those of you that are like, I don't even know where to start, that's why it's important to find these individuals. And again, they don't need to be in person. You can find videos. You feed yourself on a daily, you're feeding your mind, you're feeding your heart, you're feeding your body, and you're feeding your spirit. You guys cannot expect to have an extraordinary, delicious life and feel awesome and think awesome if you aren't feeding yourself in this way. So what are some of the things that you do? Because I feel like when you do that, your stress levels go down. So how do you handle and manage, let's say, stress? What's something that you do?
This is what I do. In the mornings, after I lay there for a few minutes, listening to my heartbeat, listening to myself breathing.
Yes, this is what I wanted you to say earlier. Tell them about what you do when you wake up, when you lay in bed.
And I asked this question to my life group class, and they said they jump right up in the mornings. Well, I said, okay, well, I usually lay there. I first thank God that I'm awake. You know, I'm touching myself. I'm still here. I can feel, you know, my heart is still beating. I can see my diaphragm going up and down. I'm still breathing, and I stay there for a few minutes, just basking in that,
in your aliveness,
awareness of being alive.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that happens because I'm older. I don't know. Anyway,
well, you know what?
That's what I do.
I do the same thing, and this is a thing that I've been doing for, I don't know, maybe a couple of years now, maybe even a little bit longer, where I do, at the very minimum, I have now turn it into a habit. That's another thing. It takes a while for us to break habits, and it takes, you know, they say like 21 to 30 days sometimes to instill a new habit. But I wake up and the first thing that comes to my mind is, thank you, God, I love you, God. Yes. And then to my own self. And that's that now I'm kind of taken to another level, because we have a very hard time saying I love you, or another thing too is just like holding yourself and like embracing yourself and being like, you know, I care about you. We need to start caring about ourselves, and that's really weird. Do you do any like I call it mirror work, where you look at yourself and you state affirmations, or you say any like beautiful things to yourself? I just recently started doing that, and it was really uncomfortable at first, I'm not gonna lie.
This is my mirror work. I get up, I get my coffee, I go to the terrace, I have my workbooks, my Bible, my devotional, and I spend time reading, meditating, talking to God, giving Him an opportunity to talk back to me. Yes. Because one of the things that I realize is many people, they pray and then they get up. Yeah. And they never gave God a chance to speak. Yes. Yeah. So, you know, He feeds our inner man with thoughts and things that He would like us to do, and things He would like us to be aware of. His word is what keeps me at peace. Love it. What gives me balance in my life. Yes. And what helps me to know things that I otherwise could not know.
I agree 100%. It is in quiet moments. You know, when you practice meditation regularly, because sometimes people think meditation always has to be sort of this big thing, right? Where it's like you have to light a candle and like incense, and you have to be all like, and and you know what? I do that sometimes. But meditation for me sometimes is just when I'm driving. I hardly ever play the radio in the car. Sometimes I do when I'm like kind of feeling a certain type of music I want to listen to, right? And I'm in a mood. But oftentimes, like I do a lot of contemplation in the car. And in that quietness, I get like information sometimes about maybe something that a conflict that I just experienced with somebody, and then it gets replayed and it shows me both it's like I'm seeing both perspectives, and I'm seeing how I could have maybe done a little bit better or something, and you know, and it's like, wow, that's great.
I call those little downloads.
That's what I call them too. I'm like, I gotta download.
I get them too.
Yeah.
But I get them when I'm in the shower.
I was just gonna say shower. I was just gonna say the shower. I love the shower
when
time.
I'm in the shower.
That's my other time.
Or if I'm out walking.
Yes.
I get them a lot during that time.
Yes, exactly. So, and that is like, we're going to take a break. I'm just like at a loss of words right now. I told her, I was like, you know, we're from the same soul tribe, right? She uses a lot of the same words and gets a lot of the same things, and things happen to her in a very similar way that it happens to me. So anyway, I love this. You guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be right back. We are going to take a quick break. Hello everyone, you're watching Rise Above. Thank you for tuning in today. I am here with Phyllis Clemmons, author, life coach, spiritual guru. And we are trying something new. This is something we've been wanting to do, and I guess you guys are making comments, and so in real time here, I guess there's a delay. So there's a little bit of a delay. If there's anything that you guys want to ask us, please feel free. I'm looking. Thank you so much. Hi, Walda and Myra.
Hi, Myra. Hi, Donovan.
This stuff is so cool.
Hi, Clarence.
Okay. So we were talking earlier about just how we deal with our stress and how we start our mornings and what are some of the rituals. And we were talking about, most of us take a shower pretty much every day. Okay, so if you say, I don't have time to meditate, use your shower time then. I imagine that the water is like holy water, and that it's like washing over me. I am cleansing my mind, I'm cleansing my body, I'm cleansing my heart, I'm giving gratitude in the shower sometimes. It's just like, we have to figure out how to layer healthy things in everyday mundane things that we do. Yes. When I brush my teeth, I think about my I ams. Or this is where I do maybe some mirror work when I'm looking at myself and I'm trying to think of the things that I like about myself or see the beauty in myself, because that's a lot of women, and maybe some guys too, but a lot of women struggle with appreciating their appearance and their beauty, and appreciate it's almost like I want to love my vessel and see my vessel how other people see it, okay? Because we perceive ourselves very differently. We are our own worst critics. We were talking about that earlier. And the way I feel about my spirit and my essence, I can tell you a lot of beautiful things about it. But sometimes I struggle with being able to feel that way about the exterior. And so has that also been a process? Like, I'm not sure how old you are. You look really young for your age, I'm sure. Because I swear, y'all, when you are happy and when you are dialed into spirit and when you are being your authentic self, okay, living the life you were destined to live, you look younger.
Actually, my birthday is coming up. It's Sunday. And I'll be 67 on Sunday.
What?
So
I thought you were in your 50s. And speaking of birthdays, by the way, I want to say happy birthday to Arlene.
Happy birthday, Arlene.
I don't know if you want to come on set or not. She's about to have a baby. Her baby's going to be born close to her birthday, which is so awesome. Adam, who is the creator of Miss Entrepreneur Role Model Search. He's back here. I doubt he's going to pop in. It's his girlfriend. They are getting ready to have a baby soon. So I want to congratulate her. And also just thank you for all the things that you do around here, Arlene. We wouldn't be able to accomplish a lot of what we do without you. So we love you, girl. She's over here.
Love you.
Are you going to come in? You want to come in really quick? She's so stinking cute. Get over here. Your little belly, little baby girl bouncing up and down in there. Come
Any day now.
Hi, we love you, Mama.
Any day now.
Yes. So when are you due?
Any day now.
Any day now. Oh my God,
Well, it
you
might
look
be
beautiful.
today, and then you'll have a birthday baby.
Yes.
Right? And you know what? All babies and all children are so important. And I know Arlene is going to be one of those beautiful bright lights that encourages her child to be the person, like their own little person. And you're going to love them and nurture her. And she's going to be another bright light. She's going to have a girl empowerment. Thank you so much. Thank you, Arlene. We love you.
Thank you.
And you. So your birthday's coming up. I'm in shock but you look beautiful and you're so vibrant. You also help people recognize that it's important for us to take care of our bodies and stuff. So what kind of physical activity do you do?
Okay, now I just started walking again. I had
Beautiful.
fallen off the wagon for a while.
Hey, that's okay.
But I have just started back walking again in the mornings.
Good.
And I'm going to tell you, anything that I do that requires any amount of energy, it has to be done at the first part of the day.
That's how I am too.
I'm not a night person at all.
Right.
So I've just started walking again, making sure that I drink my water. I try to drink at least 2 quarts of water a day, at least.
That's great.
At a minimum.
And you can tell in your skin. You guys, we really had to hydrate ourselves, especially during summertime, but just all year round. Water is really important, and I need to take my own advice. I used to drink a lot of water, and I've kind of been like slipping in that area. So that has been something that's been coming through in meditation, this like importance of water. You know what, just really quick, check out Dr. Emoto. Google D-R-E-M-O-T-O, Dr. Emoto. You'll find a whole video about water. And it literally, water can feel, it has like a consciousness to it to some degree, can feel your intentions and your emotions. And we are 70%, almost like our body is made up of about 70% water. Yes. So when you see the power of word and thoughts on water, you'll start to become a little bit more responsible and accountable for the things that you say and think.
Yes.
Totally, right?
Yes.
Where else could they find you? Is there anybody that's reaching out here that's asking us any questions? Let me just make sure. Oh, that you're getting all kinds of birthday wishes, Arlene.
Yes.
How can they find you on Facebook? I know you have your website, and also you have a group, right? A group that you meet with on a weekly basis. I don't know if you're still doing that. So how can our viewers get in touch with you?
Okay, now on Facebook you can put my name in and I should pop up.
Wonderful.
And send me a friend request.
Yes.
Yes. Send me an email. I'd love to get emails, especially from my readers, because I want to know, how am I doing?
Yeah, and where could they find the book? I know they can probably get.
You can get the book from my website. You can get the book from Amazon. You can get the book from Barnes and Noble or Books A Million.
Okay, so there's
websites.
Okay, wonderful.
As well.
And this is like a really easy read. And again, if you guys are looking for some type of sustenance, a way to maybe just start feeding yourself on a daily basis, things like this are a really beautiful way for you to begin that journey. Is there any, well, by the way, I wanted to say something about her necklace. So I have an affinity for doves because, you know, they represent peace and tranquility. And hers, this necklace, it says, I choose happy. And the truth is, happiness is a choice. It's a decision we make. Don't you agree? I mean, hello, you're wearing a necklace.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, that doesn't mean that everything goes your way every day.
Right.
It just means that if I have a plan and my plan doesn't work out, I can always say, you know what, Lord, you know what's best for me. Right. You can see things ahead that I can't see. You know things that I don't know. Yes. And maybe what I'm wanting to do or what I'm asking for is going to be something that could hurt me.
Yes.
Or that's not your best for me.
Absolutely.
And I've learned to be okay with no. I've learned to be okay with a closed door.
Yes. And I believe in that wholeheartedly. I believe that we have like a divine GPS. Every single person has this like intuition. It's almost like a direct communication connected to like God and Creator and Source. And when these things happen, it's imagine your GPS. The way I look at it is like the GPS is like rerouting, that's it, recalculating. Exactly. And you're like, but no, I don't want you to No, be like, okay, cool. Maybe it's recalculating, rerouting for a reason. It really is. It's not maybe, it is. But it's very difficult for people to really fully be in that operating system of full trust in that all the time.
I can't believe you're saying that, because just the other day I was thinking about that, about recalculating the route and what that does. It's still going to get you to your destination. It's just changing the path that you're going on to get there.
Yes, and this is another thing that keeps coming to me, not just right now, but just in general. People a lot of times get stuck when they have to make a decision, okay? And they're like, but they get so worried and so concerned about, well, if I make this, and they start going and analyzing and projecting and going through all the worst case scenarios, best case scenarios, and then it ends up putting them in a place where they end up not making a decision at all. Know that when you make a decision, guys, just align everything about yourself with that particular decision, and know that if there are some hiccups and some falls or some obstacles and challenges, there will be. Trust that there is some golden nugget in that for you.
God is going to still get you there.
Yes, this is just maybe a better way. And it may be, like you said, let's say you're in a relationship, and that is, you deep down inside, you just know when something is toxic. And you may want to try to keep forcing it because you have this vision in your head and projected this whole entire future with this particular person. But if your spirit is being debilitated, if your heart is not being fed, if mentally it's bringing you anguish, you either have to get help so that you guys can get out of that space. And if the other person isn't in alignment with you, then you need to reconsider whether or not that relationship is for you. And I know a lot of people are in that position right now, which is probably why, I said something about it. And I also was dealing with that my own self.
You know what I was just thinking? Back to the GPS. You know what I was just thinking?
What?
It usually tells you are on the fastest route.
Bingo.
However, sometimes the fastest route is not the best route for you, because first of all, you can run ahead of God. That's number one. So the fastest route is not always the best route.
That's true. Yes.
So sometimes you need to slow down, because guess what? In everything that you do, timing is crucial.
It really is.
What does the word say? Everything is made beautiful in its fullness of time.
Beautiful.
If you go too fast, you might get there before the fullness of time. So then you're not getting the best that you can get.
It's true. And I'm even experiencing that as I go through a lot of changes in my life. There's been some things that I wanted to do very rapidly, that I wanted to get through very rapidly, and when it's not coming easily to do it that quickly, you just have to step back. There's so many things that we have to let go of sometimes, and a lot of us are trying to control certain things, and there's certain things that we have to be okay with knowing this is not in my hands anymore. I'm going to hand this over. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to just ride the wave and get real comfortable with the unknown.
Just be still.
There you go. Exactly. Maybe you just need to get on the surfboard and just sit there for a second and enjoy the view. Enjoy the journey as you guys go through these changes, as you go and try something, as you create something. Appreciate every little facet, because it's all really delicious. Again, it's all about attitude.
It is. Absolutely.
Yes. So again, Draw Near My Beloved. She has other books. If you go to her website, which is inspirationsandlove.com, you can see all the other wonderful books that she's written. Thank you so much, Phyllis. Is there any other little anything that you would like to do or say, maybe a prayer, anything like that for us before we head out?
Let's do that. Let's say a closing prayer.
Okay, I like that a lot.
Father God, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for a time where we can come together, Janie and I, and just talk to our viewers about life and about what we go through, about our struggles, about how we get through the tough times, how we can make it, how we can get from pain to triumph, how we can get where we need to go by starting where we are. And so, Lord, we just thank you for this time, and we just bless everyone who is listening, every viewer who is here, all of the technicians involved, everybody who has been instrumental in this segment. We just give you glory, honor, and praise for all that you are and for what you're about to do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. That was so beautiful. I'm like in such a calm state right now. Those words just hit the right spot. And I hope they did for you too. Thank you so much for everybody that's been supporting this show.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, as well as all of our other shows. And thank you to all the beautiful role models that have been on this project. I'm going to get emotional. Oh my God, it really is something that I enjoy doing very, very much. And I want to thank Adam. Well. Thank you. I want to thank Adam for giving us the platform.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, and kudos to all the other individuals that have been doing shows here. If you guys are interested in being a sponsor, you want to promote your business, definitely contact us. Just go to missentrepreneur.info and we will get you all the information that you need. And if you know of a role model and you want to nominate them, be sure to visit our website. Guys, if you're looking for some fun workouts where we're going to like ignite the spirit and the mind and the heart and everything, go to fiercebodyfreemind.com. That's one of my new projects that God is asking me to do, so I'm listening. So go check that out. And remember to always strive to rise above. Thank you, and have a beautiful day.